魔法バトルなんて認めてたまるかよ。
ほらほら、目をつむらずにちゃんと見ろよ。ほらほらほらほら、魔法だよ、家具だよ。そなたがどんなにわらわや魔法の存在を否定しようとも、ほらほらほらほらほらほら。
Alright, you don't need to yell that like multiple times. We get it.
こうして目の前でブオンブオンカキンカキンやられちゃ台無しだよな。
All these bang bang, kung kyung, hoo ya, hoo.
ほらほらほらほら、
What up?
もう思考なんて止めちまえよ。魔法はあるんだって。これはファンタジーなんだって。目を閉じるなよ、しっかり見ろよ。ほらほらほらほらほら。
畜生畜生畜生畜生。
Yeah, you know it well better. The struggles that I've had in the second game. How can we go against magic when we see it with our own plain eyes? I mean, I barely even had a theory about that candy fix in the last game, but this...
魔女を認めない、魔法を認めない。
I mean, I could go with the idea that Kanon and Lucifer have like blades hidden inside their sleeves that retract and, you know, stretch out like a hidden blade, but used by assassins and such, like those sort of ones. And I guess they're also multicolored because that's what kids are into these days. But yeah.
でもこんなにあからさまにやられちまったらなんだっていやいいんだ。クソクソクソクソ。
ほーら、目を背けるなよ、しっかり見ろよ。魔法はあるんだよ、ファンタジーなんだよ。推理ごっことかやめちまえよ。知ってんだよ、ものを考えんの本当は苦手なんだろう。
I mean, still, we thought about these mysteries in the last game, even if we've seen these magic events happen. To think, despite what the event, even with the events that we've seen, to think in human ways.
やめちまえやめちまえ。ほらほら、どうせファンタジー、どうせファンタジー。
うるせえうるせえうるせえ。俺に話しかけるんじゃね
え。こいつ意地になっちゃって、私になら勝てるなんて思い上がりをしたことを今すぐ床に這いつくばって謝ってごらんなさい。そうしたら特別に許してあげてもいいわよ。生きながら生皮を剥がして絶命するまで全身を鞭打ってのたうち回らすのを特別に許してあげてもいいわよ。可愛い子なんだから謝っちゃいなさいよ。そうしたらあなただけは最高に素敵な気分の中で優しく優しく行かせてあげる。
黙れ、魔女の家具。お前と問答するつもりはない。
私なんか眼中にないというのね。
It is good tactic.
気に入らないわ。イフを感じないその目。本当に気に入らないわ。
はあ？
Lucifer has the experience, but she gets angry easily.
カノン君。あやつ、サタンの時よりも筋がいいではないか。
だから人間は恐ろしいのです。たまに魔女にまでなり、悪魔を執事扱いにしたりいたしますよ。
わらわはどちらを応援すればよいというのか。こいつ、私と互角に渡り合うというの？
Yeah, there you go.
僕を見くびるな。お前にそのおごりがある限り、僕には決して勝てない。
私がこの煉獄の七姉妹が長女ルシファーを指して決して勝てないと？この思い上がりが！
That pride of yours is gonna be your defeat. Kanon was desperately trying to stay alive, and he had the strong desire to become human. But Lucifer didn't feel anything stronger than a slight desire to play. So, that reached its inevitable result. For the ability to yield such a result is the power of humans. The power of the heart.
これまでだ。お前は僕に決して勝てない。
A glowing red trail extended straight out from Kanon's arm, pointing at Lucifer's throat, just beneath the tip of her chin.
何よこれ。この私がこんなの。何かの間違いよ。
As she ground her teeth in irritation, she tried to deny the reality before her eyes. No matter how much she believed in her own superiority, it didn't change the facts right before her eyes.
ほう。やるな、カノン。
Yay! Kanon won! Alright, I won the bet, Beatrice. Now give me the money.
見事だ。わらわを退屈させなかった。それに比べ、わらわの家具のなんと情けないことか。
ルシファー、お嬢様を退屈させていますよ。やはりあなたには荷が勝ちすぎた相手でしたか？
You are a disgrace to the stakes and all demons in hell. Go back to your room and think about your actions.
失望するぞ、七食いの長女。
Disappointment. That would have seemed like nothing more than a simple rebuke to an outsider. However, furniture serving the witch knew what kind of severe treatment was promised by the rebuke, and understood what had been left unsaid.
この出来損ない家具が！
She howled. Abandoning her last bit of pride, she made her body explode, exposing her true form. Uh-oh. Duck and cover, everyone! That form was a demon stake, which bounced and deflected off the walls all over the room.
よくも私にここまで恥をかかせたな。殺す殺す殺す殺す。このぬるまが私の姿をもはや追うこともできないくせに。もう遊ばないよ。本気で怒ったわよ。お前の心臓を一撃で貫いてやるよ。ぶっすりざっくり貫いて真っ赤な血の噴水を天井にまで届かせてやるよ。
You know, you would be more threatening and have more effect if you were not the talking steak flying in the air. All you need is a cartoon mouth and googly eyes to complete the set.
死ねー
Yeah, well, place your bets, folks. Either Kanon dies, or Shana is gonna sacrifice herself to save him. That or Kinzo is gonna raise himself like a zombie and become a meat shield for Kanon, yelling, Beatrice! With a speed exceeding even the limits that a human eye could follow, Lucifer went wild and flew at Kanon's heart. Lucifer confirmed that the sweet taste she could feel was definitely Kanon's blood. But she quickly noticed she hadn't pierced Kanon's heart.
ほ
これだから人間は恐ろしい。紅茶はいかがですかな。
今はよい。紅茶もいらぬほどに面白い。カノ君。
Huh. Did he actually catch the steak just in time?
Oh, おごったな。だからお前は僕に勝てないんだ。
The floor was stained with dripping blood. It really was Kanon's blood. But it wasn't flowing out of his chest. Kanon had sacrificed his own left hand to protect his heart. Lucifer was arrogant. Even though she had been given enough time to realize that this was an opponent capable of cornering her. Even so, in her pride, she had believed that he was a worthless opponent. She had gotten careless. Such is the weakness of sin. So just as she had announced, she had aimed for his chest, trying to pierce his heart. Because she was arrogant, she hadn't even thought of aiming for somewhere other than the place she had announced. No, maybe she had thought about it a little. However, her pride would not allow her to aim for a different spot. Because she was Lucifer the Proud. Kanon, withstanding the pain, grasped the demon stake sticking deep into his left hand, strongly with his right, and pulled it out. The sound of breaking bones and even more blood dripping down could be heard. Shannon instinctively averted her eyes. There was an air hole in the back of the pierced hand, so big that you could clearly see through to the other side. Kanon's face was filled with agony, but in this very moment, he had won, without a doubt. The demon stake he was gripping with his right hand turned back into Lucifer again. Kanon was now gripping exactly where her neck was. Wow. Complete savagery. I mean, even if Kanon won here fair and square, I doubt that this whole ordeal is gonna end on a good note anyway. Like, something doesn't fit here. Still, my man Kanon sure has gotten stronger and learned over the consecutive games. How lovely.
Beatrice.
Kanon didn't hold back at all with the hand gripping Lucifer's throat. She had challenged him again after their fight had already been decided. Kanon had no obligation to be considerate. But even so, Kanon released the witch's furniture. Was it his naive humanism? His pity for another piece of furniture? Or a final show of respect to the witch? In any case, when she was released, Lucifer fell face down on the ground and made as if to vomit, moaning over the pain in her throat.
お見事ですよ、カノン。 あなたの奮闘により金蔵の研究の正しさが一つ実証されました。
Noby was clapping his hands. To Kanon, who had achieved a difficult victory, incurring a wound on his left hand that couldn't be closed, that applause seemed nothing but shallow.
人の心はあらゆる可能性を秘めるか。いやはやこれだから人間は恐ろしい。あっぱれであるぞカノン。そなたは勝利した。見事だ。
大丈夫カノン君。
Shannon ran out to him and wrapped a handkerchief around his left hand, which was still spraying blood.
見事であるぞカノン。実に見事である。わらわも少しは番狂わせを期待した。それを裏切らぬとは、そなたは誠に素晴らしき家具であるぞ。見直した。正直見直したぞ。
いや、約束を忘れてはいないだろうな、ベアトリーチェ。
もちろん忘れてはおらぬぞ。魔女も悪魔も非道ではある。だがしかし契約に限っては人間など及ばぬほどに高潔だ。わらわは保護にはせぬ。そなたが勝利したなら13人の生贄を逃れることができる5人を自由に決める権利を保証した。
You know, even when you say that, a part of me believes you are just gonna kill them nonetheless. However, only now do I remember, like from the last game, that you said this in red, that you keep your promises. I mean, I just remembered this, so... What's it gonna be, Beatrice? Are you truly gonna keep your word, as you said? Or are you gonna go against your red truth?
ベアトリーチェ様、私はまだ破れたわけでは。
Beatrice twirled her pipe, and heaven and earth turned over just for Lucifer. So as a horribly natural result, she fell onto the ceiling. The ceiling doesn't seem that high to people standing on the floor. However, people who fall on it upside down and head first surely don't feel the same way.
お嬢様、さすがにやりすぎでは。
それもそうであるな。許してやるか。
Beatrice spun her pipe again. When she did, the magic that had been affecting Lucifer was released. So, as a horribly natural result, this time with extreme legitimacy, she fell back onto the floor. Hey, hey, hey.
ベアトリーチェ様、お許しを。
何を怯えておるか。わらはもはや許したぞ。さてカノン、続けようではないか。
何をだ、まさか彼女にとどめを刺せとでも言うつもりなのか。
Oh, are we... Wait, are you serious? Are we gonna go with the moral dilemma over here for Kanon? That end. You're truly gonna finish off Lucifer just like that? Beatrice? You're only gonna have 6 stakes, not 7.
ああ、違う違う。まだ終わっちゃいないだろうが。
何をだ、はぐらかすな。
わらわは確かにそなたと約束したぞ。わらわの家具、煉獄の七杭を打ち破ったならとな。
Oh! I mean, the toy! He meant all 7 of them! I didn't even catch that. Oh. I knew there was a catch.
さあさあおいでなさい煉獄の7区不甲斐なき長女の6人の妹たち
With shrill laughing voices, the air split, and gold sprayed everywhere as the remaining 6 of the 7 stakes of Purgatory showed themselves. All the 7 sisters of Purgatory, only one of which Kanon had been able to defeat by sacrificing his left arm, were gathered. By now, Kanon regretted his faultlessness in accepting the witch's challenge. He had been foolish to assume that a game with a witch would be on an even footing.
ですお姉様どうして床に這いつくばってるの？お前たちだからお姉様はダメなのよ。長女を偉そうに名乗るくせに上っ面だけなのよ。
まったくルシファーお姉様一人の集大が私たちへの評価を下げるのよ。恥を知りなさいな。
Shame on you, Lucifer. Shame on you.
この未熟者が。
バカ者が。
すごいすごい。でもいい気にならないことよ。ルシファーお姉様なんて威張ってるだけで姉妹の子じゃ大したことないんだから。
だからルシファー姉は何もしなくていいといつも言っている。お姉様は威張ってだけいればいい。荒事はすべて優秀な私たちで片付けるのだから。
お姉様どうする？私たちはお姉様のプライドを尊重してそのボロボロの体で再び挑むのを期待して手出しをしないつもりなんだけれど。でもカノン君は強いわよね。今のお姉様じゃもうどうあがいても勝ち目はないわよね。
お前たちやれやれいつも賑やかな姉妹たちであるな。今は仲違いをしている場合か。
I mean, if anyone has any interesting trivia to share on Discord, sure.
そなたらは7人揃ってこその煉獄の7姉妹であろうが仲良くしてわらわの仕事を遂行せよ。迅速にね。
ねえルシファーお姉様、私たち妹の力が借りたいなら言ってよ。お姉様の口から助けを求める言葉が聞きたいの。
私はこれ以上苦労する気か。
愚かでひ弱で見苦しくて情けないこの長女のルシファーをどうか妹の皆様お助けくださいってねえ聞かせてよ。それを聞かせてくれたら助けてあげる。それでいいわよねみんな。
お前たちおのれ。
The 7 sisters of Purgatory taunted their elder sister, calling her worthless, verbally abusing her. Even Kanon, who had been fighting her for his life until a second ago, couldn't bear to look straight at it.
私がそのようなことを口にできるものか。早くせよ。どうせお前一人では拉致が開かぬわ。早く7姉妹にてカノンを撃て。
そらどうしましたかルシファー。お嬢様の命令ですよ。
ひどい。
Lucifer ground her teeth over and over, hurled curses at her sisters, and then, as As she trembled all over, she answered her sister's request.
愚かでひ弱で見苦しくて情けない情けないこの長女ルシファーをどうか
She was finally unable to endure saying those degrading words, and the girl bearing the name of Pride broke down crying. However, the 6 younger sisters kept giggling cold-heartedly.
ちょっと泣いてごまかさないでまだ言い切ってない
もう十分だろう。さあ姉妹たち、我らの力を見せてやろう。
私は全部聞かなきゃ満足しないわよ。ほらほらお姉様続けてよ。
もう十分よ。さあこの屈辱は姉妹全員の屈辱。生かして返しはしないわよ。
さて哀れな家具をどのように遊んでやろうかしら。素敵な提案はある？
ベルゼは仲良く7人でカノン君を分けっこしたらいいと思います。
良い提案だな。それでなら姉妹でみんな仲良しだ。
なら私頭部ね。手足はあんたらにあげるわ。やだやだダメ。私が頭なの。
そんな約束意味があるわけないでしょ。早い者勝ちに決まってるわ。
どんな殺され方がいいかカノン君の提案があったら教えてね。
7姉妹でとびっきりの殺し方をしてあげる。
くそ。
ここまで恥をかかせたんだもの。八つ咲きでも足りない。
百咲きにしてくれる。行くよお前たち。
お姉様。
The 7 of them burst at once. Here they come. It's raining sticks tonight. They had no desire to play or boast. This time, they would generally follow their master's orders. Slay Kanon swiftly. The 7 sisters jumped around the room faster than the eye could see, deciding how they would kill Kanon. They tortured Kanon with their cruel giggles, sometimes making a close pass at him. They kept scraping his arms, shoulders, cheeks, carving red lines into his body. At that time, Shannon dashed up behind him, holding onto him so that she blocked the way to his body at least a little. At the same time, a red cylinder wrapped around the two of them, like a beam of light sent from heaven. That cylinder repelled the evil ones who tormented Kanon. Technically. But I guess the promise doesn't even matter at this point. I mean, it's not like Shannon is gonna stay behind and watch this.
あんたは関係ないでしょ。
きっとこれはあれよ。私たちと一緒に遊びたいのよ。
なら私がもらうわ。いっただき。
ベアトリーチェ様、シャノンを私たちの獲物にしても？ああ、構わんぞ、好きにしろ。お前たちの悪食にはカノン一人では足らなかろうしな。
ありがたき幸せ。さあ シャシャリ出てきたことを後悔させてやろう。
どっちがどっちかわからないくらいの肉片にして混ぜて混ぜてミンチにしてハンバーグにしてあげる。
I am hamburger.
バカね。それよりあの結界を破る方が先でしょうが。食い意地より先に仕事しなさい。
はい、お姉さん。
It's a horribly natural first action. The seven sisters began to destroy the barrier Shannon had created. Shannon's barrier certainly was extremely strong. It was enough power to impress even Beatrice. It was strong enough that frail furniture would turn to dust just by touching it. And it was firm, like a tree with deep roots. But no matter how big a tree gets, it would eventually turn into a saw or a hatchet. For the seven sisters, chopping down Shannon's barrier, while it was a pain, was not impossible. The sound, like beetles jumping around, grew even more fierce and filled the room. They cut up and steadily eroded away the red barrier, as though with a hatchet, saw, no, a chainsaw by now.
愚かな。君の結界ではその子たちを防ぎきれないことは知っていたでしょうに。なぜ？
見過ごせないからです。
Shannon spoke back resolutely as she covered Kanon, who was already spent off all of his energy and sprawled on the floor.
シャシャリでなければ眠るような死を与えてやったのに、なぜわざわざ七姉妹の前に身をさらすのか。死は同じではないぞ。苛烈な死は死してなお苛むぞ。
どうぞお好きなように。あなたがしたいことを好きにするように、私もしたいことを好きにしたまでです。
Here comes the burn! Once again.
どうにもそなたはこのところ面白みに欠けるな。恋というやつは達するかどうかのあたりが一番面白い。達してしまった後の女はさながら産卵を終えた鮭のごとしか。そなたにはもう飽きた。
ありがとう。魔女から聞ける言葉で最も嬉しい言葉です。
ならせめて最後にわらを思いっきり喜ばせる死に方をしてみせろよ。七姉妹を聞こえたな。シャノンの殺し方、お前たちの残虐の限りを見せてみよ。
シャノン。
申し訳ございません。やはり私には源氏様の高みには至れませんでした。
姉さんはバカだ。僕なんか放っておけば姉さんまでひどい目に遭うことは。
ううん、いいの。ジョージ様に指輪をもらって女として生きられたあなたをかばって姉として生きられた私のせいはすべてこれで未練なく全うした。
イライラするぜ。
Boiling anger like a kettle.
その達観が本当にイラつくぜ。だから家具なんだよ。お前からは人間の匂いがしねえんだよ。わらわを見ろよ。わらわこそ人間だろうが。家具のくせにわらわよりも完成されたかのような達観したかのようなことを言うんじゃねえ。
醜いその未練があなたの正体なの。
未練じゃねえ。それが生きるってもんだ。指輪もらったから死んでもいいとか。ああ 解できねえ。さっぱりがっかり愕然呆然、全然ダメだぜ。
お嬢様、少し品がないかと。
うるさいわ家具が。シャノン、楽に死なせてもらえると思うなよ。舌を噛むなら今のうちだ。
哀れね。もしも私の目にあなたのその姿が映ってそれが見えるなら、己が醜さにおののくといい。
安心しろよ。てめえはそれよりさらにめちゃくちゃぐちゃぐちゃに生きながら醜く潰してやるからよ。
At that time, What? Genji softly entered the red barrier. What? Genji? Maybe that barrier didn't block those without ill intent. Then Genji softly held Shannon from behind and covered her eyes with his right hand.
源氏様、
もう十分だ。先に休みなさい。
はい、ありがとうございます。
After that, Genji softly pressed his left hand against the area around her collarbone. As he did, from the area where that left hand pressed, a crimson stain gently spread out. Wait, what? Genji, what are you doing? When Genji removed his hand, bright red fresh blood oozed out of there. For just the very first instant, it appeared to be shaped like a crimson rose. And when he removed the right hand that covered Shannon's eyes, there was a peaceful expression on her face, as though she was sleeping. And she fell softly, silently down, and slept. Her soul had already been sent to a world where the malicious witch and her furniture could never reach her, no matter how evilly they tortured her. Beatrice and the Seven Sisters were shocked by this scene. Only Ronoe had a mysterious expression along with his smile. I see. So that is why he killed her. So that Beatrice would gain no satisfaction out of it. Genji. Then Genji leaned over Kanon, who was crouching on the floor.
よく頑張った。お前ももう休むといい。
はい、ありがとうございます、源氏様。
Just as he had done with Shannon, after gently covering Kanon's eyes with his hand, Genji covered the area around Kanon's collarbone with his other hand. And when that was removed with the lightness of a feather, there was a crimson rose shape. But that rose shape quickly turned into the stain of bright red blood pouring out.
何よそれ。つまらぬやつ。
Well, even if Genji was the one to do the final deed, who am I to complain when this is going against you, Beatrice?
生命の風船は針にてつき、威勢よく割るから面白いのだろうが。
Yeah, well, you're not gonna get your chance this time, Beatrice.
見事です、源氏。それでこそ家具です。
ありがとうございます。それではベアトリーチェ様、ロノウェ様、これをもって私の最後のお務めとし、おいとまをさせていただきます。
Final task?
わらわの楽しみを勝手に奪いおって。この二人をギッタギタのぐっちゃぐちゃにしたかった分、 そなたがそれを変わるのであろうな。
Beatrice faced him with an unsatisfied expression, but Oronoe spoke quietly to Genji with a soothing smile.
ご苦労でした。あなたは私の最高のしもべです。これまでの労をねぎらうに値する安らかな眠りをあなたへの最後の褒美として取らせましょ
う。What he said just now. His greatest servant. I remember something I read a while back, like how... Yeah, like how Kenzo made Genji into his servant, but with the help of a very powerful demon. I read that before. Like before starting the third game. That demon must be Ronoe.
おい、勝手な真似を。
And not to mention the Goetia. Like, didn't it say that Ronoe... what was it? That he creates... He creates good servants. I think that is how it was written, right? In which case, my god. And Ronoe snapped his fingers. As if Genji was a puppet that had crumpled from its strings being cut. Slowly, and yet gently, he fell, sprawled on the floor, into a sleep that witches couldn't call him back from. That was as filled with kindness as the sleep he had given Shannon and Kanon.
なんだよ、ロノウェイ。
Wow. That's... wow.
拍子抜けでつまらぬぞ。
お嬢様は偉大なる大魔女ではございませんか。この程度気に留めるほどにもございませんよ。シャノンごときの挑発で頭に血を上らせるなどらしくもない。
What was there that Beatrice didn't like? Was she still unable to remove the form of Shannon's words? Ronoe laughed lightly, as though lamenting the complexity of the human and the female heart, and ordered the seven sisters to go. After all, there were still 2 sacrifices left for the first twilight. Well, I guess so. Guess I'm gonna go ahead and drink some of Kinzo's booze that he has in his cabinet here. Why, hello there, Mr. Jack Daniels. Hey, Keanu, do you want some of this? The 7 sisters cavorted as they disappeared. What would Kyoko do in this situation? What would Shuichi do? What would Nick do? If they were here, how would they tackle all of this? Pretty sure some of the smartest people I've known could easily solve the epitaph like Lickety Split. No doubt some of the best detectives in the world would think of this as too easy and that it is child's play. But I am Noby Grant. I am my own best detective. If I just continue to think the way I did till now, eventually I will figure things out. Even if it means having to throw wet paper towels at the wall all the time and see what sticks. Zvari. They'll all become clear soon enough.
There is one more favor I want to ask of you.
What is it?
Have you ever heard of the legend of the Golden Witch?
Legend of the Golden Witch? No, but it sounds freaking awesome. I love witches. What is it about?
Knew that would be your reaction. What I am about to tell you is of a very old case that was never solved. Nobody could determine what happened, who the murderer was, the history behind the events that occurred. Stories were created of this case, saying that it was the hand of an evil witch. Of course, for people of the law and highly educated detectives such as myself, it was not something to be accepted so easily. There was nobody even left alive to prosecute in a court of law at the time. And even so, you talk of the existence of witches, they think of you as a madman.
So, let me guess. You yourself tried to solve it, but never managed to do so.
Well, for someone like me, the great ace detective, look at me. I was the closest to solving it, if I do say so myself. But mark my words when I say that it's not a walk in the park. Especially for someone like you with such an innocent outlook on magic. If and when you are interested, go to the Tokyo MPD. The case should still be there, even after all these years. Maybe someone like you would be able to solve it. After all, without love, it cannot be seen.
Wait a minute. Is this the same case that girl was talking about? The one that messaged me about Rokinshima? Hello? What the hell? Without love, it cannot be seen. I assume he means love thyself, as he said before, but that sounded off for some reason. I mean, 1 second he was talking about the case and he ended it with that weird sentence there. Huh. If only I could ask Look at Me about it. He seemed to have known what is going on with this case. I mean, he said that line at the end. Without love, it cannot be seen. So he definitely must have known a lot more than I imagined at the time. Like, I heard that quote before and I wonder if it's some sort of secret hint that helps me in solving the mystery behind the entire case. Hell, maybe it even helps me with the epitaph. In which case, what do I have to use love to solve the epitaph? Do I have to get down on my knees and confess my love to the epitaph? Or do I have to go for the meaning of the words again? Like, I know that at the very least, love is I in Japanese. Kinda like Ayu, the sweet fish. But that gets me back to square one, so I don't think that's gonna help me that much. I guess I could... Well, someone is surely playing hide and seek. And it sure ain't a witch. Neither a human.